All right.
Good morning.
Yes. Welcome to the Business Heroes podcast. I am Mia
And
Pyle.
I am Victor Powell.
Yes. And we created this show, this podcast, so that we could highlight business heroes, people that pursue purpose and profit so that they can affect the world for good. And I really thought that I had my phone on
And
silent.
I'm going to silence. Oh, mine
And
is on. So,
man, you
okay.
have to forgive us. We actually have a lot going on today. There's, prayers needed, but
Yeah.
God is good. It's going to work out.
Yeah.
And in any case, like I said, this is the Business Heroes podcast where we pursue business heroes that are pursuing purpose and profit so that they can affect the world for good. And we have a really exciting person on today.
Yes.
And I know that those of you who are going to watch this or are watching this, if you are a person that is thinking about writing a book or you have written a book and you're like, man, my book's just sitting, it's not going anywhere. The person that's going to be on today is going to be amazing. It's just who you need to hear from and talk to.
And more
But
than just writing a book, just starting a business.
yes,
You might have a gift or a talent that you thought about using, not sure about. And you are going to be inspired by today's show with our special guest.
yes. But before we jump into it, we have some special things for you today. So, I've been reading lots of books, and I've actually started a new book called Thrive. And this has to do with taking care of your health. So, Victor and I, we've been on an entrepreneur's challenge. Basically,
Mhm.
today is day number 90.
Ah!
Oh, yes, day number 90. All right. And so, in these past 90 days, it's been really important for me to not only be reading the Bible 10 chapters a day, which I haven't always hit that mark,
Mhm.
but we've been on that challenge, right?
Yep.
And not only that, but we've read several books, either via listening to them through Audible, writing, reading books. Another thing that we had started in our 90 days, or that I had started, was taking care of my health. And for those of you who may watch this for the first time, you can go back and see. But once upon a time, I was actually hospitalized for my mental health and I was suicidal and I had to learn how to actually want to live again. Okay. And with all of that came tons and tons of weight and pounds. And so I've been working towards getting that off and I hit under the 200-pound mark today. And so, this week I got on the scale and I was less than 200 pounds, you all.
Yeah.
Yay! And
Bah!
I've been trying to hit that goal for more than 2 years. Okay. So it was really awesome. So in the 90 days, that's a big testimony for us.
Yeah.
And so, is there anything else that we could like testify about on that note? There's so
I
much,
don't want to
right?
get started. Yeah, I don't really want to get started, but I can
Come
say
on.
good things are happening.
Yes.
Good things are happening.
Yes.
One thing I'll quickly say is, sometimes when you want to go for a goal and you feel like you're making progress, but there's like I don't know, a plateau, a brick wall where you don't feel like you're progressing. It might just need to be that you're doing something different.
Yes.
And so I've had this goal for quite some time that I want to do 100 push-ups straight
All right.
without stopping.
All
I've
right.
gotten up to 70, I think even 75, and then I'd have to take a break and do like another 25, 30. But then in doing some research, I saw that just doing regular push-ups for 100 straight may not be as effective as changing up the
Mhm.
different types of
Mhm,
push-ups you do
mhm.
that might be more challenging. And so just this morning, instead of worrying about 100 straight, I did about 10 sets of 8 different types of push-ups.
Right.
You know, and I can see that the person that I was learning this from, I mean, they have results.
Come on now. All
They
right.
have results.
All right.
So whether it's the shorty push-ups or the pike push-ups or the waist push-ups, look,
I'm glad.
I think by pivoting,
Yes.
I'm going to see better results that later on down the line, I will get that goal.
And I'm glad that you said results because the person that we have on our show today has
Yes.
gotten results. Okay.
Yes,
This
yes, yes.
person knows how to make you a best selling author. All right.
Mhm.
This person knows how to get your book from just being an idea in your head to out there on the bookshelf. Okay. And being sold. Come on, somebody. So I'm so happy about that. But before we jump into them, right? You want to say something?
Yeah, this brother, we go way back,
Yeah.
at least 10 years, probably more than
Oh,
that.
yeah, more.
And so we've been
Yeah.
on a mission field together with the NAPS organization, been doing fundraising, going
Mhm.
overseas. And I've seen this man say, look, we are going to raise I don't even remember how much the amount was. I think
Was it like $150,000?
whatever it was. And I
And like,
remember
was it 7 days? Something like
something
that.
like that. I remember thinking, this guy is crazy. How in the world? We ain't never done that before. But I can attest to this day that that goal was not only met but exceeded.
It was.
And
It
so
was. I
he
was a
is a
witness.
man
I was
of
a witness.
results, like my wife said. So anyway,
Well, before we jump into them, because we hope that you're ready to talk to this person. Look, if you didn't get a chance, go run to the bathroom and come back. Because you've got to be ready to meet this person, okay? But really fast, we want to give you our definition for the day, and it's coming up for you right now. Today's word is synergy. And Victor, can you read this for me,
yes.
please?
Synergy, defined by Harrison Moran as a cooperative or combined action, and occurs when diverse or disparate individuals or groups collaborate for a common cause. The objective is to increase effectiveness by sharing perceptions and experiences, insights, and knowledge.
Right. And this is really powerful. Okay. So the idea is that you can have synergy when different types of minds come together
Mm-hmm.
to create something new. Everybody wins because all of our different minds come together to create a new possibility, a new opportunity. And this is really important for us as business owners, as married couples, as
Yes.
parents, right? The idea that can you have synergy in your business as you work with your partners, right? Instead of looking at that partner and saying, they're always talking about they feel, and the other person, you just want the bottom line, the logics of everything.
Mm,
Can you come together and see those two parts of your brain come together and create something totally new that neither of you would have been able to do without each other?
mm.
That is just a little bit of synergy.
And I would add to that and say synergy to me, when I think about synergy, is when you come together, something even more powerful comes about than if you were by yourself,
Yes.
right? So to me, it's like crazy math. Like this isn't 1 + 1 = 2. This
Yes.
is 1 + 1 = 5,
Yes.
equals 10,
Yes.
equals 100.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, and of course, I mean, when you are, and I'm sure everybody watching may not necessarily be Christian, but we're believers,
Yeah.
in God. And once God is leading and you're being synergistic, I mean, come on, the results are like
I
can be
mean,
stupid crazy.
a great example of that would be 1 + 1 = 4, right? We have
Hey,
two kids. That's
yep.
synergy, right? Our
All
two
right now.
differences had to be appreciated
All
and come
right.
together
Yes.
so that more could be made, something totally
Produced.
different that we couldn't have done by ourselves.
That's right.
So it's a great example. All right, enough of us. We got to
Yes.
bring him on now,
Yes.
okay? Yes, yes. Coming to the stage.
Yes. Coming to the stage all the way from TX. We have I almost called you doctor, but you're about to be
Yes, that's
almost
right.
Dr. Randrick Chance in the house this morning. Chance, we are so grateful for you to be on our show today,
Yes,
man.
yes.
Good morning. Good morning.
And we didn't even give a proper introduction, really.
It's true.
But I mean, look, Chance, he's not only an author, a best-selling author, #1 bestseller 8 times, but he is helping others to produce their books. He is helping others to use their skills and abilities to pretty much make them profitable and to be a blessing to the world. And so he definitely fits right in with the purpose of our podcast. We've been around the nation with him, been overseas together in Mozambique, doing mission work and everything. And yeah, I mean, I'm not doing it justice, but Chance can speak for
Okay.
himself as well. But we're so glad to have you on,
Yes,
man.
yes. And we want you to take it away. Listen, Chance, tell us tell us what do you do? So those who are going to watch this will know what do you do and how did you get into what you do?
Awesome. Well, again, I want to thank you both for the invitation of being on your Business Heroes podcast. It's an awesome thing you're doing, blessing others. Um, well, I mean, I got into this like many people. You want to be able to make a difference. And I like the part of, it's not just about profits, it's about what you do with that. So for us, hey, Jeff, how you
I
doing?
know.
Jeff Weed, buddy.
Yay!
How's it going? Hey, hey. So For me, what I do is I actually just pretty much help people to monetize their skills, taking their education, expertise, or experience. That's what skills in my vernacular is. So those three things: education, expertise, or experience, and being able to turn that into a product, a program, or a service, and deliver it, particularly in the online space. But it can also be, in a brick and mortar sense, but primarily in the online space. So that's in a nutshell, in a big way of what we do. We just pretty much help. It doesn't matter who you are, what your background is. You can take whatever God has given to you by way of a skill, by way of knowledge, by way of experience, even, and wrap that into something that can help another person to be able to get the results, as you guys mentioned. And
Mhm.
therefore, they will be able to remunerate you for that. And that's really, to me, the simplicity of what a business really is, taking a product
Right.
idea and delivering it to other people who will pay you for that.
Mhm.
You know, that's hot that you said get paid for it. Okay. That really resonates with me. And I'm just gonna go there for two
Go there.
seconds,
Come
right?
on.
So like, most of Victor and I, our life, we spent our lives as missionaries, which is awesome. But it's really interesting that now as we do our business, we better understand that your business is your ministry,
Mhm.
right? And I know one of the biggest challenges for me, and I don't know if you find this in your work, Chance, that when you work with Christians or people that sometimes they can have a hard time charging for their services. Maybe we
Mhm.
were the only ones that were like that. But I
Got it.
mean, I've given away so many free programs, free lectures, free talks, free
Free wedding
everything.
shoots,
And this is
free
after,
photography.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is after, not necessarily being as directly in ministry as I was before.
Yeah.
Just as a businesswoman, I didn't know how to charge people. I didn't know how to charge what I should, because I just had this mental block that getting paid for what I do was like somehow, not
Wrong.
godly. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a challenge. I think actually the majority of Christians, I would say, or a very high percentage, struggle with that. I myself struggle with that, even still sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's not only about the other person paying, but it's about you also charging. You feel bad or something about it. So unless we rewire our definitions and our theology surrounding finances and what service is all about, if you really think about it, because the scripture says the laborer, the worker, is worthy of their hire.
Yes.
So I think actually, now that where I'm at right now, it's actually ungodly for a Christian to not want to pay somebody for their services, and many
Mhm.
Christians unfortunately do that. Think of it too when you struggle for tipping someone at a restaurant or something, right?
Mhm.
People serve you well, and I'm telling you, and some people have done some work, and I don't know how true it all is, but they've said that generally speaking, Christians don't tip well. And
Wow.
so that's part of the ideology, is that we feel that because you're so-called doing it for God, therefore it must be free. But again, it's free to the recipient, but it costs the person delivering that service a whole lot. Take it as you were saying, when we were doing mission work together. You
Mhm.
can't go up to Delta Airline and be like, "Oh, well, y'all doing a wonderful work. Let's give a free ticket."
Yeah.
No, Delta don't do that, right? They're
No,
not. Listen,
sir.
you serve the Lord, right? Indeed, but it's going to cost you to get over there.
You
So
better
the
say
people
that.
there is receiving our services for free. It's
Mhm.
free to them. But did you know, as you mentioned, we would do the blood, sweat, and tears to go raise that money. That's work, as it were, to be able to deliver that service free.
That's
Mhm.
right.
And so, God says that when we serve his children, we ought to be remunerated for it. And remuneration comes in many ways. But in the business world, of course, that's primarily in the way of money. No one would go to work and expect not to be paid in 2 weeks, within a month, or some people get paid weekly. It doesn't make sense. So if you deliver a product or service to somebody, you should be remunerated for it. And if you are not being remunerated for it, then somebody on either end of the spectrum is not living a godly life.
And
Mm.
when I hear you say that, it makes me think of two things. It makes me think actually it's ungodly for me to not require you to pay me, right?
Woo! What's up
Because
now?
there's a blessing in the transaction of you paying me for the service that I'm rendering to God and serving you. And another thing is that people who pay attention,
Yep.
right? And I have found, at least in the space that I've been in, and as
That's
I've been doing mental health work, mental health coaching, and things of that nature, is that the people who pay for the service will be less likely to fight us on what's going on, and they'll
Yeah.
be more serious about their transformation, right? And the more they pay, the better their results actually can be.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's just basic knowledge. And I think, by the way, I recommend for most people of faith, I would say, if you are from a spiritual perspective and you need a balanced view of money, or um, how should I put it? Understanding
Hmm.
the biblical view of money, I would recommend a book by by Rabbi Daniel Lapin, right? Called Business Secrets from the Bible. Business Secrets from the Bible. Very, very good book. Outside the Bible, that's one of the best books that helped me to understand the spirituality of money from a Hebrew and Jewish mindset. It's really, really good.
Ooh,
Mm.
that sounds
Can
good.
you, what's the last name of that gentleman?
Daniel Lapin, Lapin.
Lapin.
And he
Okay.
has one also called the Ten Commandments of Money. The Ten Commandments of Money. Very,
Very.
very, very good books.
So now, Chance, tell us a little bit more. So I know you said that you help people turn their skills, knowledge, expertise into a product or a service, right?
Mhm.
So can you tell us what are some of your triumphs that you've had in doing that space? Like some who are some of your favorite clients or testimonials that you've been able to have in doing what you do?
All right. Well, folks, if they go to my website, Strategic Secrets, and look at some of the products, you will see some of the testimonials there. But we've worked with all types of people. I like working with business people and primarily physicians because they get it, right? And when it comes to the money piece, it's another thing too. Deliver your service to people who can pay what
Chance,
you
you still there? You kind of
what
lost
you
sound
trying
for a
to.
second.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
I think the
it
last thing
froze.
last thing we heard you say was you like working with doctors.
Yeah, so doctors and business people primarily because they already have the money, right? They have,
Yes,
so you don't have to haggle over that. So that's one thing too, is to deliver the service to the people who can pay for it, right?
yes,
At the price point that you want to be paid. Not
yes.
only that, but I like those professional because business people are business people. They are
Mhm.
already go-getters, and so therefore, because for me, when I do training coaching, I don't like to go past 100 days, right? So, and normally for most business people, when I help them to put their product into either a book or a course, it's actually done within 30 days because again, they can get on it. So when I ask them for stuff, it's done, it's done, it's done. So those are my best results, of
Yes,
course.
yes.
Started with people in the allied health field or health field, and then regular business people, and then your average person who wants to just be able to take their stuff. Somebody might have just completed. Right now, I'm working with someone who in the mental health space as you are,
Nice.
Mia, and they just not too long earned their credentials, at a high level in the academic world. And so we are now turning their thing, which is their research, right? Taking their stuff out of academia, put it in a book, and wrapping a business slash ministry. It's
Mhm.
a pastor's wife, so we wrapping it slash business ministry because you got to use it. Everybody want to do ministry. I said, you know what? Make the thing a business because ministry can get murky a little bit. But to me, they're all in one. But I think we tend to lean to say ministry because it's easier, right? But if you want to be able to up level, you got to wrap a business around it. And that's not a bad word, right? Business is ministry, ministry is business. So that's a good thing. One of my clients, I think I can use her name, Erica Nino. She was a promoter. She was into insurance industry and so forth. And when we were living in the McAllen area, she didn't have any idea, clue, or anything. I said, listen, I will help you with your book and show you how to make it a business with nothing. She didn't even have a clue of wanting to write a book. So I kind of sowed the seed with her, right? And we did all of that within about I think hers was about 88 days, right? We have a physician friend of mine who did it on the 30 days. My first clients, even in Huntsville, when we were living there, they actually had a record and they beat me. So my first record used to be like 3 weeks. They did it in two. And then afterwards, of course, I went back and I figured out other ways. I have about 8 to 10 ways of how one can publish their books or courses. Okay, 8 to 10 different ways. And so now I can produce those things in record time. If you want it in a week, a day, it all depends on what you're good at.
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
the idea.
Man, this is really powerful, okay? Because if you think about it, I don't know about you, but before actually talking to you, um, I didn't realize, you hear people say, I'm writing a book, I'm writing a book. It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
Or even, I don't know if this is right to say, even worse, I've been writing this book for 3 years. Pray for me, and you're like, wow, really? I
It's
guess
Wow.
that's
real.
how long it takes to write a book. And so it can kind of discourage you because you're thinking, man, to write a book must take forever and ever and
Yeah.
ever. But that's actually not the case, right? Like you just said, you were able to produce somebody's humongous work in 30 days and then
That's wow.
a whole record in 2 weeks. That's amazing, right? And when he's talking about this, these people are going on to be bestsellers. Okay. So this isn't just some, you know, whack stuff that you're not going to want to look at and see and read. This is good stuff. Okay. So that's really, really encouraging. Chance, you said something. You talked about working with people that can afford it, and that really stood out to me. Like it makes me think about that book we were reading, The No BS Marketing to the Affluent. And I just wanted to highlight it because you said it. And in that book, it's actually talking about how we as entrepreneurs, we need to target the affluent because the middle class is unstable. And of course, those who would be considered in the lower class by their economics, they're not able to afford what we have now. Though we as entrepreneurs, we may say, hey, wait a minute, but I came from the lower class, Mia, or I came from middle class, whoever, right? But the beautiful thing about having a book now, and I hope you can talk to us about this, is that while some people may not choose to afford, right,
Mm.
our products and services at the tier that we price them, that book can actually be their entering wedge. Is it not so?
Yes,
And,
indeed.
and can you talk to us about the power of a book as an entrepreneur? Why should every entrepreneur, and this is me, I don't know if I'm giving you words, so you can correct me, okay? But
Please
why
do.
why would it be important for an entrepreneur to actually have a book, even if they were, let's say, a dentist or in a field where they didn't necessarily think about having a book? Like, why would that be important?
Well, I said today, every professional needs to have a book.
Hmm.
Every professional, every entrepreneur, every ministry leader ought to have a book. A book is the best business card, right? A book can go where you cannot go. A book can stay where you cannot stay. A book can
Yeah.
introduce people to your product and services. A book can educate people before they get to you so that you can weed them out whether or not they're for you. I attend sometimes business networking event, and I don't take business cards. I take my books. Matter of fact, that's how I
Mm.
get speaking engagements primarily. So a book can be that thing to open doors for you, right? Because it can give you speaking engagement. It can be a whole training product. If you think of all the legends like Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, all of these people, John Maxwell, they all have a book. So I tell people, listen, if you look at any of the major thought leaders today, the way you and I know about them is we were introduced to them primarily by a book. If you think about it, a
True.
book or a CD. And so the book now, as you say now, is an integrated product suite, meaning that it's kind of like, the funnel, as it were. So you
Yes.
start with the book. A book can be between 99 cents to $15, depending on the version of the book, right? Digital, physical. Then from there, we create a course, an online course. So that's what you're right. Some people might not be able to afford your higher thing, but everybody can probably afford a book. And those who want to go a little deeper, they can take a course. So we take the same book, the same content, the same journey, turn it into an online course, and that can be anywhere from 97 to 500 bucks and 1,000, depends. But let's just say, for the sake of having people afford it, so we bring those in. Then from there, now those who want your time now, they got to pay more. That's why we charge more, because rightfully so, if they're going to take your time, you're busy, I'm busy, we all got other things going on. So now you can do a coaching from anywhere 2,500 to 10,000 and more, depending again on your service and industry and who you're promoting to. And then from there, you have speaking engagement. From there, you have workshops, seminars. So one book can create all those different things. So let me give you one quick example of my book, Monetize Your Skills, right? So Monetize Your Skills is first that a book. You can get it in the digital version. You can get it in a hardcover. You can get it in soft cover, right? So those three different products there at least. Then it's an online course, full product. Then it's coaching. Then it's speaking. And I can also do certification now where I can offer people to be coached in my way and then now have them pay a royalty every year. So let's say I can charge 10,000 for a whole business model and let other people now, for example, Russell Brunson does this. You have many people who are doing this. What's his name again? Dr. John Maxwell does this. He certified people to speakers. Eric Thomas certified people to speak. So they use his blueprint and now they're able to add another layer there. So technically, every book, that's why I like to start with the book, right? Every book should create about 5 to 7 products.
Wow, wow, wow. And see, this is why I love podcasts because you can so learn, right?
Yeah.
You can learn, you can take notes. And we really appreciate you for sharing that because that's what Victor and I are. We're on a Business Heroes podcast, but this is part of our journey too, to better understand the business world coming from the world that we were in to better understand how our business can be profitable so that it can bless the world for good. I really love how you broke down how your book can literally become all these things in the upward tiers of 20,000 or more, which is awesome. When I think about that, it makes me think of a story, and I can't remember if it was Eric Thomas or if it was Jeremy Anderson, who also has a speakers academy. And he talked about getting whoever it was, they talked about getting their book. They did a speaking engagement. And the person said, you know what? We want to buy your book for all of our teachers. And he was like, oh, wow, that's like 100 teachers. And they were like, no, no, this is for the system. And it was so many people that were going to get the book. I think it became a millionaire or multimillionaire. I don't know. Okay, so I got to go get my facts right, y'all. We got to go look it up. But I know this has happened for multiple people, right? Where just imagine a school system or a county or a district deciding they're going to use your book because guess what? And I don't know why I'm on this. Maybe because I saw Jeffrey and his wife, and I know that they do amazing things. We got to get them on there, right? And so, but I keep thinking about dentistry. And I was like, wow, my kids have a book about brushing their teeth. Right now, what if this book went to the whole county and the county or this area said, we're going to make sure that this book gets into every child's hands here in the state of Alabama. Okay, come on now. And the book is like what, 10 pages, 15 pages, right? And so, and especially for us as Christians, God is able. We're looking for him to do miraculous things with the efforts that we put forth because we have a goal, right? We have a goal that the money that we have will not only help us to have the goals that we need personally, individually as a family, but that we can use them to change the world for good. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So that's
I love the way you said that, Mia, just to chime in real quick. And
come on.
That's part of my why, right? For example, I mean, I still work a job for most people, right? I'm a pastor. So what I tell people is my salary is for me and my family to live, right? We can live fairly comfortable with that. I have to, and that's why I also went into this, right? I use these extra tools and resources to do the other things that I want to do. Yes. Whereas blessing the poor, going on mission trips and all of that, right? My church is not financing these type of things. When we were with the organization was the same thing. We joke with you when we stayed with you guys not too long ago. That, hey, you were living on a stipend, but I got bills, right? You got debt. So you should be able to listen. Everybody, by the way, I know this is a Business Heroes podcast, but what I think is this. Everybody is not going to be an entrepreneur, but everyone should be entrepreneurial.
That's good. Come on, break it down.
Everybody's not going to want to get into business, but because you got bills, you got debts, you try to go somewhere, you ought to be entrepreneurial, meaning that even if it's a side hustle, because the thing is your paycheck can only go but so far.
That's right.
And not only that, but we're talking about making an impact. Here's the thing. This is why you have to realign yourself with money, because the more funds you have is the more good that you can do. Right? One of my favorite authors talk about the 7 powerful positive uses of money. Money in the hands of God's people allows them to do more godly things. Money in the hands of wicked people allows them to do more wicked things. So it's just money accentuates who you are already. Yes. So you think about it again, all the good works that we were able to do, you could not do it without money. That's why we went fundraising ever so often.
Mhm.
because we know that in order to make an impact, you need financial resources. And so, even if that's the motivation, which is a big motivation for me, is that when I get more funds, I can do more good. My wife and I does stuff outside the pulpit. We don't have to broadcast it. Our church don't even have to know about it. This is our personal ministry.
Yes,
We work
yes,
with families in Indonesia right now. We're working with young people in Ghana right now. And we just helped a woman from Uganda who has a mission agency there, not just by giving her money, but by also setting her up like this on an entrepreneurial mindset
yes,
and organizing her in such a way where I'm like, listen, it's time for you to grow to the next level. You need to organize officially, but not with a regular nonprofit. You need a specific type of business
yes.
arrangement that the rich people use that is all private. And so we were able to set her up, and now she's back in Uganda. She's able to do things. So that's the why behind it. So yeah, that's a good point.
See, that's amazing, and that's why you're a business hero.
You know, let me
Absolutely.
say something, because we've also been in our research following Dr. Myron Golden,
Hmm.
and he gets some flack from the
Yes.
Christian world because he specializes in building wealth for God's kingdom, and everybody's
Hmm.
ready to hear that. So he said, "Oh, all you want to do is talk about money," and he asked the question, "Well, okay, do you?" or well, in them saying is, all right, let me try it again. Yeah, all you want to do is talk about money. I just want to be comfortable. I just want to have enough money to be comfortable. He said, okay, that's selfish. And he said, what do you mean that's selfish? Like, being comfortable just takes care of you and your family. Having wealth equips you to take care of your family and fulfill your mission in the world to reach others.
Yes.
So I'm no longer comfortable with just being comfortable.
Exactly. And I
And
don't
well, let me not
no,
go
go
there.
there, go
Nope.
there. Well,
I'm
see,
with
I'm about to go there, right? And
All right.
I know
Go
we're
ahead.
almost coming to the end. So in a second chance, we want to hear from you. What are some challenges that you've had to face as an entrepreneur? And we also want to be able to hear like what is one thing you would tell other entrepreneurs before we close, okay? So
you.
if you were gonna leave the show, just hang in there a little bit longer. But okay, can I be controversial? Can I like potentially risk being stoned at this
Oh
moment? I
boy.
don't
Go
know.
right ahead. Go right ahead. It's
Actual
challenging.
stones coming at the
Let's go
studio.
Challenging,
there. Yeah, we don't know how
challenging the
many
status
people.
quo.
All right, so I don't know, guys. Let's go very I don't know. So what if as an entrepreneur, a Christian entrepreneur, I decide that being comfortable for me is to have a Rolls Royce, um, and to have a house on a hill, uh, with a pool and a tennis court and so on and so forth. Have I left the faith if I decide to do that,
Ooh, watch out.
Pastor?
I like how you put the
Yeah, if
pastor.
you don't think you should answer, if you don't think you should answer, I don't know. That was tough. It was tough.
Well, again, it's our understanding and definitions, right?
Mhm.
That kind of gets us there. God has no problem with wealth. It all depends on the person. Because my thing is, you and I probably are not going to reach the Elon Musk per se. So
Yes,
somebody,
you will. But keep going.
right? No, but here's the thing. But somebody needs to be in that bracket so they can have the conversation and be next door neighbors. You catch what I'm saying? So in other words, if we are all living down here, who gonna reach the folks up here? And
Yeah.
so I think that's why wealth is important, because it also allows you, if we think of it from that perspective, then somebody got to be driving those kind of cars, so also attract and meet those type of people. Give you a quick example. There's a colleague of mine, an Asian brother, and he has a ministry called the Nicodemus Society. Okay, and here's what his tagline is. Specifically, his ministry is for the rich. I mean, the wealthy, the well-educated, and something like only those people on the upper echelons. And he even got flags for that. Well, what about the poor? It's all about balance. Like, listen, poor people, rich people, everybody needs God.
Yes.
Everybody has a soul. And so it doesn't matter what your class in society is, because again, this conversation will always seem controversial, but it's only because we make it so.
Right. Come
Again,
on
you go
now.
back to the Bible, man. You got all the people in the Bible. Wealth is part of the blessing of
Yes.
God. We
Yes.
don't want. So my thing is, listen. If you want to argue for your poverty, stay there. I've been there. Listen, man. I've seen both sides of the spectrum. I'd rather this side because to me, even American poverty is not poverty. Listen, I was born in the Caribbean. I know what poverty is like. We've been to Africa. We've seen poverty. We
Yeah.
understand poverty on another level.
Yes.
So don't tell me that money. Listen, if you want to argue for money, poverty, you stay there and work that out. All I know is this: the more resources that I have, and from my personal experience, the more that I have is the more that I can do. And I've seen also that the people who have more actually do more and
Yeah.
they impact the world more than it doesn't mean that everybody is important, yes, but everybody does not make the same impact. It's just a reality of life. And so you and I know, Mia, how many times we've been on the field where people have given us a $10,000 check. I know Dr. Pascal is on here, man. I remember one time we were in Maryland, Virginia, and we drove a long way just to officially see a check with $10,000 written on there. And all I'm thinking in my mind at that time, because I didn't have that kind of money, I was thinking, I would love to be on the giving side of this 10,000, because if someone can give a $10,000 check, you best believe there's more where that came from.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
sir.
think about it. That's
You
why it
better
says
know
it's
it.
more blessed to give than to receive. It's the giver who is the bigger, who is the one who is most blessed. Why? Because the receiver is receiving. But in order to give, it means you have to have had more.
Me too. Me too.
So
Oh,
okay, let's go there, right? Let's go there. So Victor has something, so I'm gonna let my husband go
so
because
I was trying to
okay.
hold my yeah.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So, bro, so this is so controversial, and this isn't even
Yes, go
what it's
on.
about, but it's going there.
Let's
So,
go.
okay, so there might be some viewers watching if they haven't clicked out yet because they're just like so appalled. But man, so some people out there thinking, but this to have wealth is you're gonna go to hell. What about the rich man? It's impossible for the rich to go to heaven because the eye of needle and camel and all that stuff. Look, I'm gonna nuggetize this. We keep it short. But if it is impossible for the rich to go to heaven, Abraham's not going to heaven, and he's the father of the faith. Daniel's not going to heaven. Joseph's not going to heaven. We said Abraham,
Job.
Isaac, Jacob. Job's not going to heaven. And so let's go back and look at that. Like, let's pull out the Strong's Concordance. Let's, take another look at that because, if you're saying A, then B has to happen. So our understanding of what it means to be wealthy from a biblical context is flawed and has permeated Christianity for
Yes.
years and years. So, and yes, is there a danger in being rich? There can be.
It's a danger in
And
being poor. It's a big danger.
You
It's a
know,
big danger.
you can be poor and you can be a robber, you can be a thief, and you can do the same thing while you're rich. But are
Yeah.
there righteous on both sides of the spectrum? Yes,
Amen.
there are. I'm done.
So please allow me to interject because I love how you brought, and I love what you're saying, Pastor. I love how, because remember I said, what if I want a Rolls Royce and a tennis court and a house on a mountainside, right? So that takes some considerable funds because I could just have a house in the valley. And I don't have to have a personal tennis court, and I don't have to have a Rolls Royce, right? But I want us to consider this, and I'm not trying to make a theology about this. This is something I'm studying as well, so I have to put that out there. But when I look at Job, when he gets restored,
Come on.
brother man doesn't just get just enough. He gets abundance. And it wasn't just so
Double.
he could bless the community.
Double.
Okay. He didn't get a whole bunch just so he could have enough to bless the community because the community had their own farms and businesses and things like that. Okay. But he gets abundance. When the children of Israel leave Egypt, they are told to get all this jewelry, changes of apparel, and stuff like that. And you can only wear so many necklaces and rings and foot jewelry. You could only wear so much. They had an abundance. They had more. They walked out of there with more than what they needed. And you see this when you're reading Joshua, when you're reading Judges. And
Yeah.
specifically Judges at the end, just before Joshua dies. And you all correct me now. I'm correctable. I'm teachable. So I'm open to rebuke and correction. But from what I remember, when Joshua's about to die and they're dividing up the inheritances, okay, the people each have, he says, make sure everyone has multiple changes of raiment and multiple jewels and stuff like that. Like they didn't have just enough. Okay, we're going to have 7 outfits for the week and that's what you guys get. Make sure you don't get more than you need. That was not said. They walked away with plentiful. Like everybody walked away with more than they needed. And so go back and check me out, and I got to go and find the specific scripture, but it's in Judges. And so I think that, okay, just based on what I've seen, and that's a pattern in the Bible as well, that it's like, wow, the idea that God can bless you with more than what you need. And it doesn't mean that you're sinful because you
Yeah.
have, perhaps better than you need or better than you deserve, as it were. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
It's not making you a sinful person to have a Rolls Royce. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm seeing from the word of God. But I see there's some good scriptures
Yeah.
coming up there.
Job's
Mhm.
lifestyle practice, and
Uh-huh. Good. That's
we don't
good.
have time to go to pull it up right this
Good.
minute. But what we do know of Job is, while he was wealthy in abundance, he stayed on his knees.
Come on now.
He kept his head to the ground. He was wealthy but not flamboyant.
That's true.
He gave to the poor. His heart was to serve from his abundance.
Hmm.
And that's one thing that those who are seeking after wealth, who are wealthy, need to bear in mind. There's the balance. He had a lot, but he gave a lot. And his heart was big. And I mean, he was just a giver. And so being able to do both is, I guess, the key.
Yeah.
The key. Keeping
That's
God.
the antidote. That's the antidote to greed.
Yes.
Giving and lavish giving is the antidote to greed. And again, we're not elevating one or the other. The rich
Yeah.
is not more important than the poor, but the poor is also not more important. Again, we need balance, and it's good that you all asking this question because we have to challenge the narrative.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we keep being taught one way because some things is just basic
Yeah.
understanding. You look at it, for example. Do you know more poor people than rich people?
Yeah.
Can we say that there are more poor people in the world than rich people?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Probably, right? So if in the
Oh
end of
yeah.
the final analysis, the majority of the people are not going to be in the kingdom of heaven, then that means the majority will be poor. If we take it as a
Wow.
whole.
Come on.
Right? Secondarily, when we talk about, money will make you do evil, let me ask you, did you sin today? Did you sin yesterday?
Right.
Did you sin the
Right.
day before? Was it because you had a lot of money that you sinned? No. We sin in a whole lot. Listen, most of the people I know don't got money. And so they sin every day. So it's not money. Matter of fact, as you said, money is a big reason why they sin.
Yes. Yes.
It really is. And
The
so we
lack
need
of the
a
lack
lack
of.
thereof. Because a lot of prayers, I mean, again, I'm in the pulpit. So the most prayers that I hear, I would say over 95% of all prayers is directly related to money. Help my
Mhm.
kid get into school. Well, if you have money, it's not going to be a problem. My car broke down, I can't get it fixed. Well, if you had money, it wouldn't be a problem. Like, think about it. Most of the things that we really pray about are of a financial nature. So, again, we have to make our peace with money. Money is not the issue. God has no problem with treasure. It's what we do with it that makes a difference.
Yeah.
And again, money just accentuates who you are. If you are an evil, wicked person, the more money you have, it allows you to do more of that. But if you by heart want to be a blessing to others, having more allows you to do that. So don't let it be something that drives you away from it, because I think the church has actually driven a lot of people who could have made money and they didn't want to. How they sabotage themselves. That's one of my challenges I'm going to talk about in a sec, right?
Okay. Come
Is
on.
that that's the problem because we have demonized it so much. And here's the thing: every single week, what do they ask you for church? Whether you go on Saturday or Sunday. So when money is evil, why are you picking up an evil thing every single week? That doesn't make sense. If money is evil and then you telling the people they're going to be cursed and all of that, then how come you can't tell them they're going to be blessed, but you are certain they're going to be cursed if they don't give that single week, right? That's a problem. So those are the kind of things where indeed Christianity has taught a one-sided or an imbalanced view of finances, and we need both sides. Okay, so again, and it's according to our faith. If you don't want wealth, bless your soul, but don't demonize the man or woman who does,
Yeah.
because the desire for wealth is
No,
an inborn thing that has been put there by the creator, by God Almighty himself.
Yes.
So that's the issue. When Jesus said, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Notice the emphasis is not money, it's what you do with the treasure. So, in other words, you need to have treasure, right? Me storing it up on the earth. But what he says is where the treasure is. So, the issue is you have to have treasure even to lay it up in heaven. If you ain't got no treasure, you can't lay nothing up. So you have to have something, and so I'll just leave that there. But that's one book that I'm still working on. It's a 3-year work in progress because I know I'm trying to cover all these angles and deal with a lot of these myths. But I'm bringing out a book for people of faith
Come
on
on.
finances, right? But it's been 3 years in the work, even though I know I can release books. But because it is so, yes, taboo and controversial within our circles,
Yes.
and that's why, yeah, you're trying to cover it from all of those,
Yes.
angles and whatnot. But I think it's going to be a blessing by the time it come out. It's going to be 10 principles of finances for God's people, and
Mm.
we will of course make it into an online course as well. So anyways, that's it.
Look
Awesome.
at that.
This is so juicy. This is so juicy. I'm so glad we were able to have this. Hopefully I'll be able to get outside and not feel a stone come my way. But I appreciate it. Tyler Buford was on here and he did highlight two scriptures. I hope that people saw those, but if not, he brought into the discussion Luke chapter 12 verses 15 to 21 and also Job chapter 29 verses 7 to 25. So please let's go give those a look as well. Those are going to be, something, and each man must be persuaded, each woman must be persuaded in his or her own mind, right? Because that is also a scripture. And so I really appreciate this discussion. I know we're just about out of time. And so I'm going to just ask you if there was one thing you could share with entrepreneurs that are looking on or that will look on. What is one lesson that you learned the hard way that you wish you had known and now you can share that with other people?
Well, one thing is simply having a product or service doesn't necessarily mean you're in business, right? Because I think sometimes, especially in the beginning, people who do author too, they think that writing the book is what makes money. Yes, you got to produce the thing, but that's like saying build it and they will come. The true thing to me about business is selling or marketing or put them both together. Because one is you have to indeed have something, right? You got to have a product, program, or a service to offer. But if no one knows about it, then man, I got this wonderful thing, and I'm not making any money because you have not promoted it. So the same thing with a book. You can be an author, well, you can be a writer. There are many people who are writers, but then there's an author which is published, and then besides that, there's a best-selling author. Now, I'd rather be a best-selling author than even be an author or a writer, right? So your best-selling means you're selling something. So understand the difference between just simply having a product and actually selling the thing. When you begin to sell a thing, to me, you can say you're in business because I'm actually now transacting. So before that, it's maybe idea, you're in the ideation stage or developmental stage. But what you really want to do, proof of concept is the best. Once you have a couple customers, then you can say, okay, I know that this thing now is proven. I have seen it, I've gone through. But focus a lot on selling and on marketing. Actually, Dan Kennedy, I think you mentioned that Dan Kennedy has now passed on. However, but that's one of the things he said. He said, even with the best, you if you know marketing, if you know sales, you can sell any what, even cow down, right? Because as long as you understand sales and people and promotion, so marketing is very key. So, right, for example, we just released something here recently. Again, I'm not into tech and all of that, but I just had the idea. You know what? We're gonna do a tech camp for kids, right? Teaching them coding and robotics over the summer. And I've never done that before, but I just see that it's something that a lot of people are involved in. So it's not yet built out, but I just put it on before we came here. I put it online on Facebook, rather, run some Facebook ads to it. And we've already got 15 students, and I have zero thing created. So because you use a sales thing and you promote it and market. If I waited on the other side, let me develop this and hopefully they will come. No. So of course we got to create the thing, which I just farm out. I just paid for, the professionals to deliver that stuff rather than me going to try to learn it. So
Right.
that's one of my best lessons is focus on selling and marketing.
Wow.
Wow, that is awesome. That was heavy there, right? You know, you can have something good, but if nobody knows about it, then nobody knows about it. You just have it yourself. And actually, I want to ask you this. When you say proof of concept stage, would you tell entrepreneurs that in that stage is a good time to offer it for free or for very low cost, or would they still offer it at a premium price?
I think both works, and again, to me, it goes back to it depends on who your client is. If you're selling to people who have money, you don't need free, right?
Yeah.
Seriously, because they already see it. Okay, even again, we were driving, I think 2 days ago, and I came up with an idea to bill out because again, based on this, during the summer they offer kids program for kids, right? Some
Right.
churches do vacation Bible school. Well, there's a doctor friend of mine, and I'm like, hold on, what if I take her stuff and create this whole curriculum for kids, wrap it in a kit, da 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 da. And so with that, for her, I'm not gonna do that free. I'm gonna start with at least $25,000. I'm gonna see like,
Yeah.
listen, if you give me $25,000, we will develop a kids VBS as it were, but focus
Okay.
on your thing, right? It's
Yeah.
not going to be typical. It's going to be, and we probably call it the BAP version, right? You have the
Right. Right.
Christian version and the one for the regular folks. And
Right.
I'm thinking, and I did the math. I said, well, if we charge you 25,000 and we charge a price point of $300 to $500, then you just do the multiplication and you're able to get your money back.
Yeah.
So, like that is what I'm saying is it depends. For her, I would not, or for that client, I would not say, let me do it for free.
Right.
It's depend if I'm going to speak to a school, juvenile detention center, something like that, then yeah, I can charge for free or give them a sample and then you sell them later on. Take a 1 week subscription, try it for 1 week or something like that. Try it a couple of days, see if you like it, and then if you like it, then you continue at this price or something like that. Yeah. So both work. I would say it just depends on who you're selling to.
That's great, 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 great stuff. Well, we have come to the end of our show, and we want to highlight. I know for those of you who have watched or will watch, your juices are probably like just percolating, and you're like, okay, how do we get Chance? How do we get on his program, hire him, or get with him so that he can help make things move for us, right? And so, can we highlight that, Victor?
Yep. Yes, to connect with Randrick, you can go to Strategic Secrets. You can email him at strategicsecrets@gmail.com. And for today's special offer, Chance, I don't know if you want to touch a bit more on that, but to get help publishing your book or to sign up for the Monetize Your Skills program, we have a special link today at painunwasted.org/chance. And you'll see both of those items there. You could get more info, but if you want to add anything briefly about those, Chance, you can.
Again, so monetize your skills. What that one does, it doesn't matter again what your thing is, right? We want to help you to take this course. You can do it on your own, or we can do coaching with it. So either one, whichever option is best for you. If you're the do-it-yourselfer, you can just get the course. If you want done with you services, then we can take the coaching package. With that, we help you to identify your own unique gifts and talents. Who are the best people that will probably get your services? What product, program, or service to offer? And then we teach you how to market and promote it, because again, that's where the secret sauce truly is. And so by that, you can be up and running, especially if you already have something right now. You can be up and running in 30 days, in less than 30 days even.
Wow,
Wow, that's awesome.
that is great.
Yay.
That
Thank
is
you
great.
so much. Thank you for coming on. We learned a lot
Yes.
today.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to create a book list because you're getting some good books too.
Yes.
That have come out. Rabbi David Lampin, Business Secrets from the Bible. The 10 Commandments of Money also came up. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we thank you again, Chan, so much for being on. We always learn from you when we speak to you. Congratulations on your upcoming blessings, you and your wife and your
Mhm.
son. And we look forward to seeing you at the top, man. Yes, wherever that is, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, yes.
Yes. No,
All
thank you
right.
again for our viewers. We hope that you have been blessed, that you found some benefit
Yes.
to today's show. And if you have, please definitely like, share, and subscribe to the Business Heroes podcast on the Pain Unwasted channel on YouTube. And
I was
That's
just
it.
like, see you at the top. The top. Well, we have a couple tops, right? The top one being heaven, right? And then the
That's the
top,
ultimate top right there.
right? The ultimate top, and then the top of actually pursuing your dreams and doing it. And that's the biggest thing I think I got from Chance today.
Yeah.
Not only has he been pursuing his dreams, he's been teaching other people how to do it. And it wasn't just a pursuit, but they acquired, right? And it
Mhm.
wasn't. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Some people talk about doing the thing and then people actually do it. And so that's what he did. And he's helping other people do it. And so that's really awesome.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll see you again next Sunday, the Business Heroes podcast. We're going to have another awesome person on. So we hope to see you there.
All right.
Hmm.
Take care. God bless.